excited, up and coming, scared, anxious, wondering where you're going to be, wondering what your fate is? Because I believe fate has a lot to do with it, as well as your talents, because sometimes you can be in the right place at the right time, you get that little connection. After a while, it seems to, when you get, sometimes when you get older, you think, oh, is it all running out? But I think fate does have a lot to do with it as well. And obviously your belief, if you believe in yourself to get there. But as an industry as a whole, where do you see big changes coming in the industry? Do you see there's going to be a lot more black films or people cast in, it doesn't matter what color they are? Do you see change?
I feel like it's difficult to, because it's taken so long to even get to this point, it's difficult to kind of see a future where that happens. But I think for me personally, I know what I want to see in the industry. And like, so the fact that I know I want to see that means that I feel like I want to work towards creating something that I'd like to see. I think it's you can't just wait for it to happen. And I think that's what a lot of people do. They kind of just sit and they say, okay, well, things are kind of changing now, so let's just wait and see how it goes. But like, when you really want that change, you kind of have to like get stuck in and like get involved, I think. Yeah. So I think a lot of people that I know, like my age and kind of like that are going into the industry now, they kind of have that kind of mindset where it's like, we're not going to sit back and wait for opportunities to come to us. It's like, you can't do that anymore, because you're just going to be waiting forever. You need to be proactive, and you have to be like, if I want to see this, I want to try and make it happen.
Yeah.
I think I just want to say very quickly, I think there's a number of things that you know, we need to introduce to young people. One is the curriculum. You know, we've got to change the curriculum, especially in uni, especially in secondary schools. We have to have a more diverse, and we have to have a more structured input into what we want to see from our culture. We've got to say how our culture should be represented, not other people think what they'd like them to see, so it's palatable for them. That's one. When you've got theorists that you've got to then make reference to, where's all the black theorists? You know, when you're in uni, you've got pure white theorists. That is, if we are encouraging, as a parent, if we are encouraging our young people to be proactive, like, and also re-educate and educate. Once you've gone through 11 years of schooling in this system, you have to then re-educate yourself, because once you've got that education as your foundation, you then have to have a supplementary form of education in order to be sustainable, in order to give back to the community. Because the other questions is, you know, what are we giving back to the community? We're talking about it, but what are we actually doing about it? Now, Ashley,
that's where you bring Ashley in.
No, but and I completely hear what you're saying there, but in a way, especially for it's Kenia, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kenia. It's I was doing Coronation Street actually, and I was talking to one of the lads on there, and he didn't know what the National Theatre was. He didn't know who Kay Mellor was, who's a really good writer and a really famous Northern writer. And I hear what you're saying, Jamila, but in our industry, for me, it's so brutal. You know, I mean, we've got a huge equity database, a huge spotlight database of actors. Hardly any of them are working, especially at the moment. It's about us, as you know, researching Clark Peters, Dawn Hope, all of these amazing black powerhouse performers, Nicola Hughes, that you're probably going, there are so many people that we've actually got to do the research as well, sort of away from that education system, because if you're not doing that, it's going to eat you up and spit you out. There's no point doing it. Do you know what I mean? So it's about us really going to the theatre, watching really good films, watching it, finding out who the writers are, finding out who the directors are that we want to work with, and moving forward with that, because actually no education system's going to give you that, because writers are changing all the time, directors are changing all the time, theatres are changing all the time, and television production companies are changing all the time. So it's almost our responsibility as the actor and the performer to really make sure that we do our own homework, because no education is going to do that for us.
Yeah, I hear that.
Just to answer your question as well, the thing about change, I think there can be change, but something in my head saying that it can be a trend, because in this society, most things become a trend. It's there for a while and then it's gone and forgotten about. So it's a matter of pushing and standing firm that we want this change. We want to make sure it stays and it lasts forever. Because I know there can be change, but then you've got certain factors pushing back at you. That's just how I feel.
I completely. I mean, I've had Roylan, who's been to British Theatre Academy, where I've been working, and we love Roylan. Yinka's
that's my son, right?
He's like massively talented. He's of the right age to come into our industry, because you start as you mean to go on. But for me, what's heartbreaking for me at the moment is I've got all of this experience. I've got a really good position at this as head of acting at British, and all of my kids that I'm teaching, most of them are white and middle class, and it just, they're my kids. I'm going to teach them exactly the same as I'm going to teach a black or Asian or Latino kid, but at the same time I'm sat there thinking,
you want diversity.
There's no diversity. And because the mum, people are going to pay out for their kid. Money. People are going to pay, and how do we? And at the moment, I'm actually sorting out a thing at BTA. I want to do something in Ladbroke Grove. I really want to do something here, which I am going to do, but I'm not going to talk about it needs to happen. I don't want to do it and say it and then it not happen. But but it's like that will be a thing that people can afford to come. But it's also for us as black people to take responsibility as well and go. I see people in the trainers. I see people and their kids are the best trainers. They're garmed up, their hair's done, and then they don't want to pay to go to a local theatre group, which is going to benefit them more in the future. So, we had a great thing. Could you remember YCTV?
Yeah. With Sabrina Guinness.
The acting talent that we had walk through those doors, you couldn't teach it. Kids were absolutely phenomenal, like working class black kids. I'd sit there and the hairs on my body would be standing up because these girls and boys would come in and just give astonishing performances. That shut down.
Yeah, because I had the opportunities, didn't I? It's funny because you're saying that, because we were just talking before we came on, and it was about the same thing, exactly what you're saying, about a lot of the drama schools, the good ones, where they, the people that are going to go and tout and look for it. It's down to money, and we were just saying it's a shame because the talent that's out there, a lot of it is based on money talent, in that you can pay your way to get there. So people are just viewing that talent on money, what they've paid for. And we really know that raw talent, sometimes, amazing talent can be down to people with nothing, because they're more hungry and they're gonna try every which way to get to the top. And the fact of now, like you said, with all these things closing down, like community centres. I remember I used to go to a little drama school on Kensal Road and do my tap dancing and singing in my voice. I wasn't the greatest singer, but I used to be able to go to a drama school because it was free, because it was part of the community. I always remember the little piano teacher. And those opportunities were kind of there to give you a taster, to give you that experience that you could be a ballet dancer, tap dancer, even if, and they shut that down as well. But there used to be loads of little drama places that you could go. And it was funny because all that came back, because I remember my son, to Matt Royland again, he got the opportunity to go to some of these, not saying I wouldn't pay, right? But to go to some of these places. And you know what the joke was? You know why he was able to go to some of these drama schools in the area, the high, big money ones? Because of Grenville, right? So what I mean, because of Grenville, when Grenville was on, they opened up all these opportunities, right? Like drama for the local schools. There was drama schools that were opened up, and there was this drama here, and they was able to go here. They was able to do football. They was able to do this, and then all of a sudden,
that's a distraction for us.
Right.
We've been begging for that for years.
It's like,
and because it highlights.
No, it was like a simple. It wasn't even a distraction. It was okay. All of a sudden, there was no money before. And then all of a sudden, because of because people felt guilty, they felt guilty about what happened to all the community and the Grenville, they was able to open up all these places again and give them those same opportunities that we used to have back in the days when they shut it down. So my thing was, and then they've all kind of disappeared again now, and it's like, that kind of just shows you, like, it can happen when people want it to happen,
basically,
and they can take it away when they want it to happen.
But Yinka,
get scholarships or whatever to be able to go to these more expensive drama schools.
Well, even at the moment, like Lily Allen is like starring in the West End, isn't she, in a play? But and you sort of think, and you go, oh God. And when you've listened to her music, you think, oh, she's working class. But her mum's Alison Owen. She's a massive film producer. Her dad's Keith Allen. It's like there is nepotism. There's always going to be nepotism, but it's how do we, in our area now, like all of us come together and move forward so that nepotism, we can actually
for our own things.
Our kids'
Well, I mean, funny enough, this is what the community development stuff was all about initially 50 years ago, to be sustainable. So whatever initiatives we had, because our main problem, like you're saying and you're highlighting, is that we don't focus enough or prioritize enough where we spend our money.
Yeah.
We have as a community, we have the biggest spending power. We contribute to so much of this economy. There's 100 million that our Black businesses have contributed well over 50 years, and Carnival alone is 90. So it's not that we don't have the ability to sustain ourselves. It's getting educated enough to do it, and wanting and having the will and the direction to do it. That's the biggest issue that I have. When I look at my fellow friends, like you say, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like the cow eyelashes. I don't like the plastic nails. To me, you're looking like something out of Michael Jackson.
Big trainers.
And then you're going to
£200 trainers, and then.
Oh no, you've got £800 trainers and they're grand now for them to look dirty, and you're buying them. And I'm like, what's the concept of buying dirty-looking trainers for £800 when you can go and spend that same £800 on a course that could get you through the door? Or, but my thing is, we need to come away from charity.
Change your mindset. That's what I was about to say. We need to change your mindset of expecting someone to help us.
Yeah, no, we're
helping yourself.
We're done with the begging, because as soon as you beg, there's constraints and there's elements that are tied to it, that you have to adhere to, and you don't want that. We have to be in control of everything that we do from grassroots level right now. That's why I love the Indians and the Jews, because they make sure, like it or not, they strategically put themselves in the right places.
And they invest in themselves.
And they invest in themselves. Now, one thing I love about Nana in Ghana, the president, he's building his Wakanda city, literally on the slave port right there. He's given the projection that it's going to be better than Dubai and all them other places. And he's not playing. And he's just saying, listen, we want you all to come home. Now, a friend of mine is just buying a property, a flat in Accra right there, because he knows Wakanda City is coming. Now, they are screaming for talented people to go over there. And so is Rwanda, which is the fastest growing African nation. Uganda's coming up, Gambia's coming up. They're all coming up. So they're like, hey, we're here. We've got to learn how to network between the Caribbean, England, America, and Africa. We transport all our talented people.
Yeah, I remember Ghana's year of return. So many people went to Ghana that year. So many people went to Ghana.
And everything.
Yeah, and that year is like the tourism rate and the amount of people that entered that country. I was like, I've not even been to Ghana in 5 years. What are they doing there? Everyone's going and leaving me. What's going on?
No, but I really do think that there's, this love within our community and actually loving each other. I feel like in our industry, especially Kenia, hearing it, I feel that we need to. I remember years ago, I'm really upset with myself because I haven't seen him in such a long time. But Ashley Walters, who's just great, isn't he? And the thing is, he was so cool, wasn't he, back in the day? I mean, it was so solid crew. I mean, you're too young, but it was so solid. I mean, he was massive. And I went to this audition and Ashley was there. And I can never take it seriously with Ashley Walters, because I remember when I was at Sylvia Young, he used to be in my tap class. So when I'm seeing all this gangster go, he was like literally in the tap class with me. And I loved it. I loved his mum. And then I was about 20, I was about your age, 20, and I've gone to this audition, I'm sat there, and he was so lovely, and I'm trying to be cool. I'm trying to do the stink face. And I'm sat there sort of like, yeah, I think I just nodded my head a little bit. And then now I'm like, Ash was so lovely. And I think that was the thing. I was doing it. I was doing that kind of like, sort of standoff. And what we need to do is just completely embrace each other and rise together. Otherwise, what's the point?
But we're still talking about.
How would anybody take you serious if you don't take yourself serious?
Exactly.
And that kind of finally comes up to what we're saying, in that, with our little old selves, with our little podcast, with the family behind us, dog barking.
With you guys supporting us and coming on and talking and contributing to it all, you're all part of this contribution, because this is what it's about. It's coming out
and also collecting and owning our own archive, building, because I've said this before on previous other podcasts where, and I use the Getty family as an example, where they spent time 50 years ago, if not longer, collecting. They knew about photography, so they collected every single important picture, whether it be the jazz artists or, whatever it is, and their imagery, they've got over 1 million images. And every time you get an image, all you can see in the middle of that picture is Getty. Because if you want that written on, you have to buy it printed, and it's ownership. It's ownership, and the fact that you can make money from your own ownership, if you're a business person, and people have to come to you and they have to rent your stuff or they have to purchase your stuff, that's where we need to be, rather than taking it from us or taking pictures blindly and saying, well, and they're owning our stuff. They
own everything. I just sign my life away.
Yeah, be very careful.
But I would like to say one thing as well. The beauty of our industry, as well as to you girls starting out, is when you are self-sufficient. When you can go to that bank and you can live and you can spend just from doing what you want to do.
What you love.
It's a bigger achievement than any fame. Anything, do you know what I mean? Not having to ask your mum for some money because she needs to get all of that. And I think that is just the beauty of, I think that's success, to be successful.
And when people say, oh, look, there's an Ashley Campbell on the TV.
And I think that's all, you want that a bit, but then...
Not a bit, you want that a lot.
You want it. No, at that point...
Anyone's just walk past you, never notice you.
You didn't see my groove the other day on the TV and you're walking past me.
Well, actually, no, in Portobello now, I get people coming up to me that I've never met, and I always think it starts about, well done, love it. Your dad. That's what I
well, listen, it can go either way, because when I go down, Ladbroke Grove, and they say, if I want to be discreet, and I'm not even, there's nothing about me being famous or anything like that, but if I want to be discreet, just run in, run out, and I hear, just when I think I've achieved it, like, I don't want to be, because I get warned with my children, don't talk to anybody, Mum. You talk forever. Don't talk. And they don't even come with me anymore. And they're 20, 18, 16, Anyway, so when I think I'm getting in there, running down Portobello into maybe McCann's or wherever, all I hear is, granddaughter!
I remember Royla used to be crying. I remember one time I was in Tabernacle, he was crying by the time I was getting there, because I was like, we're going home, and just the entrance going out, everyone just kept stopping. He started bawling. He's like, I've just had enough. Stop talking to people. He's really crying. They're like, I felt so embarrassed. They're like, oh, look, your boy wants to go home or whatever. And I just felt so ashamed, because you can't help it, because you know everybody. And then it just keeps, but it's good to be known. It's good to be popular sometimes.
It is,
right? Sometimes.
Especially if it's positive, if it's on a positive level.
Yeah.
And even if it's not, you still got to own it either way.
Yeah, that's what Madonna would say, innit? Bad publicity is good publicity. She swore by that.
Well, some people...
That was the way she made it.
Well, some people even say to me, and this is what I love about directness, and this is what I love about our culture. You can't be thin-skinned. That's why it's good to grow up with everybody knowing your business to a certain extent, because when people randomly walk past me and say, you're on his horse, I say, yeah. I didn't like your party, And I'll be like, oh, okay. I don't know what you want me to do with that, but you know, and then they just randomly walk off, and I'm like, okay. So you know, they can be brutal, you know, in that sense, but you know, it
makes you stronger as well.
Make you stronger, yeah.
And I'll just be, my face would be so stern. They'd be like, she doesn't even flinch, like, because I'll just let it run over me. So I was so good at just letting it just go over my head, and I wouldn't even, my face would just be like, and I'll be just carrying on. They're like, she doesn't even flinch. And I was thinking, do you know where I'm coming from? I've been you think your little minor comments is going to be affecting me? But I'm tough skin, mate. It makes you stronger. So even the things happening in university and all them things you've got to go through, if you was, some people who always, I don't know, had it so easy and they don't go through these hard things, it's probably good that you went through that at university. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but it's probably good that you went through those things at university, because when you go in the real world, that will happen. So if you were kind of like, you know, it was all delicate and you was all perfect, and then you was all like, this is amazing, and then you got out there in the real world and it all started happening, you know, you might not have been able to handle it, because that's when you're actually working in the industry, which is worse, because you're gonna have to put that acting hat on and that career mode, and you're gonna be so much going on there that, but you've had a taster. I'm not saying you haven't had that in your life anyway, because we know that must have happened, but you know what I mean, to realize that in the acting industry and the media, which people think is so glamorous. I remember when I used to always be, you know, when I was in the industry, music industry, and I was up there, you know, the fame, and people used to always think it was just some amazing thing, you're famous, you get money and you just go on tour, but behind the scenes, you know, it's hard work. And it used to be, there were times where you're crying, you know, crying for tiredness, crying for the fact that you can't be with your families, crying for the way people are treating with you, and you could be on your own when you've got no one, no backup, basically, because you're around the world or whatever. And what do you do? Because you have to go on, you know, that's the industry. And I just always think sometimes you look back, as I'm older now, to look back, I realize now that it was a good thing that something's happened to you, because it made you stronger and it was confidence building in that. And because I remember when I started very young, maybe 16 or 18, and I remember going off to Japan and places, and I was on my own and with no one, no parents, no one really looking after me, and I don't even know what I was doing, but there were so many things that happened, and I just think, God, you was just on your own traveling around, like with no friends, no one. I didn't even know anybody when I first went there, but luckily I kind of found my way and went through these experiences, you know, naively, as you do, but it made me stronger, you know, throughout the years. It made me who I was. So I think it's good. So maybe turn the university thing into a positive thing, in that you learn by people's ignorance of where they're coming from and what they don't know. Whether they'll ever change, I don't know, because they could always stay ignorant, because they're in that kind of safety, kind of old school hierarchy, you know, kind of
privilege.
And just know that you've got that, privilege. To know that you're going to be, you're more enlightened than them, because you're going to be out there mixing, doing everything, taking it from some people that are ignorant, you know, tap it over the shoulder. That's your problem, that's your life. Because there's so many people out there that are not ignorant, so many people out there that are not racist, from all different cultures, and they will be able to teach you a lot of things about themselves, about their cultures, and they'll be enlightened to learn about you as well. So let's just embrace the good side of the industry, because it's not all dark and negative, otherwise we wouldn't be in it. So there were some beautiful things, and the love of the industry that I loved about the industry, and things. And there was a lot of racism, as we know, not just racism, sexism as a female, because you were just targeted all the time. I'm a photographer, I'm a producer, you know, all that kind of stuff that does go on. So don't worry about just racism, because it's those people you've got to watch out. Watch out for those ones as well, because they're usually worse than the racism that goes on in the industry, especially for females. They get used a lot.
Predatory side of it, yeah, the predatory.
Where they try and, you know, put you in a role or whatever based on trying to get something from. So be very careful in the industry. That's all I've got to say. And I'm sure, Ashley, you will agree with some of that as well.
Yeah, I do actually. It's manned now in a way that it never was. We used to have the stage newspaper where you used to look at the back for your auditions, and sometimes that would be a dirty old man in his house.
Yeah,
and
it's true.
Girls, and a lot of, you know, sometimes there were like black actresses needed, and because there wasn't a lot of roles, they'll go, and then it's something different. So you have to, now it's manned in a different way, but you still have to be careful.
Yeah, there's always those people out there. So be careful of that, young girls. You know, stay firm. I was quite hard-headed anyway, so they didn't mess with me, luckily enough. But I saw a lot of younger girls like me being abused and used and then chucked out. Or I can name some famous people, I'll tell you, I won't start going into their business, where I was watching them and I saw what was going on. I was like, really? And they could say, oh, they're famous and big stars. I'm talking about big stars. And they were being used, and you know who you are because you know, but they were young, they didn't know what they was doing. They thought that, you know, that's what the business was. But yes, so maybe we'll take this, Jamila, to another thing of what projects you guys working on. Is there anything that you'd like to shout out about, or where you see yourself in the future?
And how we can put it all together, as a family.
Any help? Ashley?
Yeah, well, it's weird we're talking about Birmingham all the time in this university, which we've totally
Ashley hasn't got over that. Ashley is still traumatized.
He's going to Birmingham, that's right.
I can't believe what I've heard. But I'm about to do this What's New Pussycat, the new Tom Jones musical. And I wrote a film a couple of years ago that won the Portobello Film Festival.
Yeah, I saw you there.
LC, and that's being made into a series, which is really nice. So yes.
When will that become completed, or when will that? Is that commissioned yet, or is that?
It's been commissioned. I've just got to write it. No. So that's what I'm doing, and you know, please stay in touch and let's chat about it, because we just got to sort of stick by each other, especially with all this.
Mentors.
And because it's so, you know, nurturing people is the best possible way. So for me, and I'd like to set up a thing in Ladbroke Grove that I've just done a bit of a pilot scheme for, which is helping young people come into the industry in a safe environment. So that's kind of going to be my big project.
Baby.
I definitely want to hear about it, and we'll definitely shout out for you. So just let us know as soon as you know when and where. We'll be sending them all down there to you.
Oh, I know, they'll all come for free. I'll have no money.
No, not for free, because we've got to support that's the problem. People, there's no coming for free anymore. It's supporting. Because if we can't support ourselves, we ain't never going to be building anything. So that's another thing we need to learn. No, you're not coming for free. We are supporting those who want to come and give back to the community, because those who have been in the industry, they've done it and been there and done it. And if they can give back, we need to be able to support them. Everyone needs to eat. You know, it's like if everyone does it for free, it's not going to be long lived. So you've got to support.
There are some cases where you just see an extraordinary talent and you think,
there's always. I mean, ideally, what we would love is that whatever industry, makes money, that we take ownership on, whether it's us eventually doing the archiving system and creating that mini industry that or the platform that we eventually can have bursaries and we can fund projects that young people
even Jamila, we could, I mean, if you're serious about setting up something in Ladbroke Grove, as you know, me and Jamila are serious about trying to get everything back in Ladbroke Grove, or the community, within the community and things. We could even, I'm sure we could, I know I'm not really into the GoFundMe pages, but you know what, if there's something that we really want to set up in our community, and you kind of really have something together that we can say, you know what, this is what we'd like to do in the community, we could set up a GoFundMe on the back of the next generation of the Mangrove 9, and get people to support into something in the community that their kids can go to.
But what also would be good is to have, people like yourself, Ashley, who've been successful, and whether you're in the whatever industry you're in, I don't care if it's football or the acting and film industry, theatre, it's nice for even Steve McQueen himself, all of you collectively, Saloom, Idris, there's
Stormzy does it, come on.
Stormzy, I mean,
but he does it already. Do you know what I mean? We need to bring this.
We just need to bring it collectively.
No, people need to give back to the community. That's what they need to do. There's
they really do.
Too many people making money out of our community, and you know who you are, making films, whatever you're doing about our community. Give back something. Just give back something to the community. Taking a lot away. Give something back. Like
we're still waiting. I mean, we are still. I mean, people can take your stories. They can take ownership even over your stories, and they've been doing that for decades. and I won't name the industry because it's all very obvious what I'm talking about. So for me, okay, you've done that. You've got archives for decades of all our stories and our videos and our memorabilia and everything that says that that we've been here in this country, which we can't see at the moment because these hoarders, including the museums, have got it all. So for me, if you know that and you expose them of that, then you should be giving back, just like the oil industry should be giving back to the environment.
But on that note, like before Jamila starts taking us, so where are you going with that? But but so where do you, Kenia, and where do you see, what you're doing? Any new things, or is there anything out there, shout out, that you might want help in, or are you looking for any particular area to go in?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I just want to be a role model, a representation. So I'm trying to hit every industry. Kenia knows this. I want to do film. I want to do Olympics. I want to do events. I'm not just limiting myself to theatre. So I literally want to do everything. But right now, now that I've just started, like I said, I'm doing Hamilton.
A big shout out to Hamilton for giving an opportunity. I respect to that. Diversity is
yeah, thank you very much. But that's soon going to come to an end because I'm actually going to be working with Talawa Theatre Company in Croydon on the show Run It Back.
Thank you to Talawa. Say that again.
Yeah, Talawa was one of my first jobs. So yeah.
A big shout out to who's that? Sorry.
Talawa Theatre Company.
Talawa Theatre Company.
I'm going to be doing a show with them, Run It Back. It's almost like a carnival vibe. Loads of
Let us know. Make sure you let us know.
Yeah,
let's see if we can attend.
It's literally the carnival that we haven't had during COVID. That's what it's going to be like. And then after that, I'm going to go back into the West End for another job, which I can't say just yet because of contract. So... yeah.
Good for you. Just we're now that we're like the mafia. Now that you're in, you don't come out breathing.
Yeah, no,
so
I'm very excited.
It's all about.
You need to come back and let us know as well.
What's going on? If you want to speak to somebody, or you want to get hold of somebody, we're trying to grow our database. And our networking, so we that's what we're here for. We're here to obviously promote, celebrate, and
Ashley here as well.
Thank you.
I hope you are going to mentor Ashley. That you'll be able to, if we wanted to pass on anyone, that you might be able to give them some advice and stuff.
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, I'm just pleased you've invited me on after all this time.
don't keep saying that. I actually invited you. Do you know why I keep saying that, right? I had to show him the message that I sent him, which is when we was doing it with Ricky Campbell, and I think with Saloon when we done the Bridgerton. And I sent Ashley a message under the comment saying, "I'd love to have you two on the next show." And he didn't even see it. He just blanked. I was like, right, just blanked me. Okay, he doesn't want to be on our program.
Here, and I want to do more. It's just such a great platform that you've set up.
Yeah. No, we'll definitely have you back. And Kenia, are you
up to?
For agents? Are you? Let them know. Let them speak out. Like.
Yeah. Like Afua said, I just want to do everything. I have no barriers. Like, I want to go to every avenue. I've got the acting and the music as well that I want to go into. So yeah, that's just kind of the future I see for myself. I want to make sure I try everything and kind of find what it is that I love, make those experiences. I am in the process of signing with an agent finally now.
Why?
Yeah, so that's good. It was a while. COVID put a halt on that for a lot of us, but I'm doing that and just auditioning and getting those jobs. Like, I'm just ready to go in, and I'm just prepared and excited, and that's kind of like what I've been doing. Just after I finished our course, I did a student short film. That's the most recent project I did, which should be released by the end of the year, which was really
cool.
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to talk about it or not.
Okay,
I'm just going to say that.
If you're not sure, then don't say anything.
I'm just going to say that. But like Afua said, when she went to Hamilton, it was really nice because the writer and director of that was a black woman called Samantha, and the DOP was black, and the crew and like the helpers, there were a lot of black people surrounding me, and that was my first kind of job out of drama school, so that was really, really nice to have that experience and kind of feel kind of like supported by everyone, which was really nice
after a traumatic experience.
Yeah, but you know what's lovely to hear is, and people don't get us wrong, because sometimes it's like we bring people on the show and they're scared to speak because they're thinking if they say the wrong thing, it's going to affect them and their careers and everything. But we just want to make it very clear out there that we are diverse, and we don't bring up the point about black because we're trying to start a revolution like against any culture. It's because we're trying to highlight the fact that we exist and we have talents and we should be treated equally, and everybody should be treated equally and diverse. So I just want to make that point clear on our show, because some people, they hear about Mangrove 9 or they just take it so wrong, because you know you've got to check it that in the Mangrove 9 there were mixed race couples as well. Like my mum was white and there was more than white, you know, there was lots of the mixed race as well as the black power. So it was all about also people acknowledging black and the power and our cultures and respecting us for who we are, but also it's not that we're against anything, so let's just not get that twisted on it. So when we're speaking out and we're and Jamila, rightfully, we're educating, we should be allowed to do that without feeling that we're stepping on people's toes or whatever. The same way we embrace and we will listen to your education or your history or whatever that we had to go through from a young age at school, whether we believe whatever you believe or not. Right, so we just want to get that clear, because I've had, you know, sometimes you get little comments and you think, but that's not what we're necessarily about. We're not trying to be against anything. We're about diversity and making it happen. And as we know, we are a minority and it's not really happening for our culture. So we need to make that happen. And people out there, you need to think as well about what you're doing in your industries, that's why it's not really happening, and there's not enough of us involved in it. Because I always say, I remember June Sopron making this, I remember going to one of her talks, and I'll tell you, she said this quote, and it was like, if you're in a business and you're only getting 80%, and you're always wondering why you can only hit 80% of, you know, that profit or the net market, her thing was, look at your surroundings and see the kind of people that you have around you in your company. And if you're all the same, then generally that's where you're going wrong, because if you have different cultures, everybody's got something different about where they're coming from.
Bring something to the table.
Which you wouldn't know about. And that one person, or that, if it's a black person or Asian person, Chinese person or whatever, that's not on that table, could be that reason that you only ever get the 80%. And that is, to me, a strong factor in life of the whole thing about diversity. We don't know everything about every culture. So if you become more diverse, you learn, and there's less ignorance as well out there, and any industry that we're in. So
just following up from that, you know, it just made me think just very quickly, because I know we're drawing to an end now, and it's a prime example that is the G8 countries who make. Now, if you had them at the table, there's a way of giving some. Say you've got a garden, you've got, you know, someone's coming through your house into your garden, taking your apple, you know, fruit from your apple, coming straight back through your house and out the door. They haven't paid for anything. They've got to rethink that whole strategy, because if you don't rethink, what happens is that the planet is dying. I'm just going on a global scale here. So if you change your mindset, if people change their mindset in terms of there's enough food for everybody to eat.
Exactly.
You know, and you have to put the main people on the table, because, you know, Africa's not on the table, and yet it contributes 90% of all world's materials. And just moving forward, exactly what, you know, I agree exactly what you were saying. We're a diverse set of people. We need to be all celebrated equally.
Yep.
And we all need to be congratulated and supported and encouraged, all in the same way. It doesn't matter where you come from, because we all need it. Even down to my damn dog. If I pack one, the brown one, the black one's going, you know. So I've got to make sure I pack all of them. I haven't got no favourites between brown or the black, you know what I mean? They've all got to do their job. They all eat the same, they all run after me, they're almost trying to kill me, all both of them. So
you've seen the size of their dogs, you'll be running from them, they're about running with them.
So all it is love. We need we need love.
But about unity and love. And we'd love to see you guys, you girls, even that, like guys, girls, succeed. And I know you will. And that's a good thing, is that you're coming on these kind of things and you're talking, you're getting out there, you believe in yourselves. I can see that already. So I know you're going to go far. Ashley's just always believed in himself and just, you know, came from Ladbroke Grove and he made it out, right? And it's lovely to see, and it's lovely to have you on the show, Ashley, as well, to know, because I know where we were coming from and we got where we needed to get to, and that's just a lovely thing to embrace, and we need to celebrate that. So it's always lovely to have you on the show as well, to know that, you know, seeing Ashley on the telly all the time, it's like, oh, that's Ashley, that's my family, that's Ashley. But it's, you know, it's nice when people give back, and they, you know, we're little podcasts, we ain't no BBC or whoever, but you can always tell the ones that you ask, and then they're just, yeah, of course I come on the show and everything. And I love that, because it's like they're giving back to the community. You can see the realness of the real people that came from it and give back. And I trust me, there's some that don't, or they make excuses. But it's always nice to see people who give back. So thank you very much, Ashley, for giving us your time and contributing to our show, because we call it contribution, because you're all there to give something back. It's not about our show and you've just come on to talk about. As you can see with our shows, we don't go, oh, what did you do in 1960 something? Oh, he was on that TV. We want to hear the real stories of real people, because that's what matters.
That's helpful.
About the real you, not all the TV programs you've been on. I mean, we all know that you've been on loads, but you know what I mean? It's keeping it real, really. And the fact that you can still keep it real is amazing. So thank you, Ashley Campbell, for being on the show.
Yay!
And we want to say a big thank you to Kenia. He was on the last show, and I'm still blown away by that piano clip you're playing. That class, that was like, I don't care. Every time I play, I'm just like,
thank you.
So refreshing, you know, to come from a classical background, which is unusual, you know, in our community. Not say it's not there, but it's unusual, and it's nice to highlight that we are even diverse in our music.
Yeah, exactly. And we're diverse, and that's another thing that you show. And it's good to know that you all want to do everything. And also to Afua, what can I say, man? You just hit the jackpot. It's like bong, 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 bong. Like, go on, girl. Like, get out there.
Thank you very much.
Shine. And you know, we're proud of you guys. Proud of
both
you
as well.
All your graduations. And I saw Kenia's play in Birmingham. Was it the Shakespeare? Was it?
Yeah.
Amazing. And Kenia was the lead role as well. So whatever.
Thank you.
So I know it's going to happen. Everything happens for a reason. So I want to say a big thank you once again to Ashley. A big thank you to Afua and Kenia. Soon we're going to be like, yeah, look at those big stars. Don't forget us, you know.
Oh no!
I'll be like the
some tickets that me and the Jamila are still saving up for. Don't leave us out. We will pay.
And if she's lying, I'll be saying, listen, I supported her, you know, you better make sure you got a seat for me and push it for the
walking past us with Jamila, so walk past us with a straw hat.
Is it? No, we look forward to it. Futuristically, we look forward to it, and we'll keep in touch. And you know, at some point we'll all, you know, come together. It'd be nice to just do a whole big, you know,
together in life, in person.
Tabernacle, tabernacle.
And just embrace everyone and have a little party. See, Ashley is here, so if you need any information, he's on the ready. I'm putting him there anyway, whether we like it or not, right? And anybody out there who might need any mentoring, just remember we're here to network. If you need any help, you've got any questions that we might be able to put forth to some of the actors, like directors, or finding about drama schools that you may be able to pay for. Or any new up and coming ones that might be coming along that we can kind of try and promote. But it would be lovely to see something in Ladbroke Grove if Ashley can do that, and if we can support you in any way, or anybody out there that might be able to support it as well, come forth. So I just want to say a big bye from me, peace and love, and thank you guys for coming on the show. The next generation of the Mangrove 9, so you can see us on the YouTube channel. got the Instagram, and we've also got our own website. So it's the next generation of the mangrove9.com website, and the YouTube channel, Instagram. Please share, please get your friends to promote. We're a small little thing, and if you don't help us, we can't help ourselves, right? So subscribe and share. Yeah, exactly.
So yes,
big bye and peace and love, and thank you guys. And Jamila,
thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. It's much appreciated. And look after yourself, stay well, run from COVID, run from whatever else you need to do. Don't feel pressured to do anything you don't want to do. And
if you get any people telling you anything that you think's a bit sus and dodgy, come and tell Ashley, and we can sieve them out and find out who they are. Any dodginess going on, tell you, come on, I'm a photographer. We're here to protect you, right?
This is our self-defense, yeah.
But anyway, see you on the other side, the next generation of Mangrove Line. Big thank you to Ashley Campbell. Big thank you for Afua. Big thank you to Kenia and Jamila, my sister. Good night. Peace and love.
Good night, brothers.
And we'll see you again. And we're going to get you back on the show, by the way, all of you. So just know that.
That's good.
All right. So take care.
Take care.
And look after yourselves.
Bye.